The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is the leading nonprofit organization exclusively dedicated to understanding and preventing suicide through research, education, and advocacy, and to reaching out to people with mental disorders and those impacted by suicide. I've always been interested in suicide prevention. I worked in youth corrections for 12 years and always had training for prevention methods and what was available out there. And that stems from when I was a child. At the age of 10, I lost my 15-year-old brother to suicide in our family home. And so it puts a different perspective on what you see in life and how you interact with people. And so working with youth in that capacity really helped give me a better understanding of it. But I think what really pushed my need to work with AFSP was the loss of my own son in 2011 to suicide. It just put a whole different perspective on my life on a personal level, which was different than losing my brother. With my brother, and back in 1982, which was a long time ago, the stigma that surrounded suicide was very heavy, and so you didn't talk about it. You didn't even say the word because it was a sin. And today that has changed. It's changed in that people are more willing to talk about it. It's changed in that people are more willing to understand mental illness to a point. There's still stigma, and we have to continue to talk about it out loud. We have to continue to still put it out there, let people know that depression is real, that other mental illnesses are a complication of something that's going on in your brain and not just something that's fantasized. You know, people don't understand that depression is real. They say, oh, just get over it. And in reality, you don't get over it. It's no different than somebody with diabetes or someone with a heart defect. Depression is something wrong with the brain, and everybody thinks that they can't get fixed, that they can't get help, that however they're feeling is owned just by them, and it's not. We all have felt that way in some capacity, some deeper than others, and if we can learn to rely on people and really tell people how we truly feel and not just the typical I'm fine or I'm okay or I'll get over it. Ask for that help. Lean on those people that you love because truly they may just understand how you're feeling. I want people to know that my son wasn't a criminal, that my son and my brother, for that matter, were not cowards, that they lived and they loved and they felt probably a lot more deeply than I'll ever understand. And they hurt and they're in pain. And mental illness is not just something that you can't see, it is something they physically felt. And I want them to understand that I love them wholeheartedly without any doubt. And I don't blame them and I'm not angry with them. They were sick. And I want people to understand that it is a sickness, it is an illness, and it doesn't have a cure per se. You have to work on it. And it's okay to reach out for help. I could ask myself 100 times why, but I'll never truly know. And I have to live with that and realize that life goes on. I can't blame my son. I can't blame my brother. I can't blame my parents, my siblings, anybody that came in contact with my brother or my son. There's no blame. It just is. We need to teach our kids coping skills. We need to teach our kids that it's okay to ask for help. But on the flip side, we also need to be teaching our parents to ask those hard questions. We need our parents to not only ask about the taboo subjects of sex, drugs, and alcohol, but we also need them to ask that tough question about how they truly feel. Get in depth with your kids. Know what they're thinking, how they're feeling. Ask the hard questions. Ask your child if they've ever thought of taking their lives. Ask your child if how they're feeling is bad enough to do something to harm themselves. Don't think that your kids are going to be fine because they tell you they're fine. They're not. You need to be open and honest with your kids on all aspects, on all the realms of conversations, because you never know when that day will be your last day because you failed to ask. My goal is to provide prevention information to as many people as possible, but I also have that realization and understanding that it doesn't always get prevented. So my main goal is to really reach out to those that find themselves on this journey and on this path, that they know and understand that they're not alone and that there is help and hope after loss. So really working with the outreach program that AFSP provides, it gives me an opportunity to put that out into the community and help others. One of the main things that we like to do is wait for them to reach out to us. A lot of families are very scared and they're fearful of how to reach out for help. So we wait for them to come to us 9 times out of 10, or we get a referral from a friend of theirs or a family member. And then that way we can do a soft contact and just kind of reach out by phone and see exactly where they feel they are. After that, I like to gather up materials that AFSP provides, and I go and actually visit the families and sit down with them and let them know that how they're feeling and where they're at, it's okay. And it's not going to be an easy road, but it's possible to get past where they're at. It's a very difficult topic that they don't know how to respond and you don't know how to ask. And so the meals were great. The just stopping in to say hi, that was one of the best things I got from people, was just them reaching out on a physical level to let them know that they cared. It's no different than any other grief. In that you need people to give you that support and that love and that unconditional ear of listening. And the best thing I can tell people is just let them know you're there and give them a hug. You don't have to say anything. It doesn't necessarily require words. It just requires that human contact to know that it's okay to be where you're at and people are there. AFSP provides a lot of programs. Some of those programs that they've started to be able to put out into the communities are the interactive screening programs that they can do through colleges. It's all done anonymously, and it's an amazing program. It really helps identify those students that are at risk at the college level, and again, it's all anonymously, so it's a complete done by email. You don't ever go into the counseling office. So there's that program that they provide. They also provide the More Than Sad videos for teenagers and parents and educators, so that they can come to terms with understanding depression and mental illnesses from a youth's point of view and how to really help with that. AFSP holds hundreds of walks throughout the United States. There is a chapter now in all 50 states for AFSP, and we hold Out of the Darkness walks, which are community walks to help raise awareness, education, and to be able to memorialize our family members that we've lost to suicide. There's community walks, there's campus walks. Utah specifically holds 4 walks throughout the state. We have one in Vernal, one in Richfield, one in Salt Lake City, and one here in St. George. They're held between October and September, and it's free to register, it's free to walk. If you'd like to raise funds that way, that's what helps us to get these programs out to our communities and to our educators to help them. Through AFSP, I've been honored to participate in their facilitator training for support group. So here in town, myself and another woman who's lost her son work together to provide a monthly support group that's held throughout the year. Usually January through November. December is a little harder to kind of get everybody out there, but we are available at any time for that. But it's a wonderful opportunity for us to be there for each other and to heal and know that we're not alone. AFSP is on Facebook and on Twitter, and I believe they're also on Instagram. They provide all the types of materials that are available to everybody. 24-hour crisis line number, 1-800-273-8255, that's available 24/7 to everybody in the United States. They can contact myself by phone. My phone number is out there for everybody. We're getting ready to put flyers out, but my phone number is 801-529-4895.